Hey everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
I have on these noise canceling headphones, and I really hope that nothing bad happens outside of this recording because I would have no way of knowing. It's
Way of knowing.
I tried to take a walk once with these headphones, and I was like, "Ooh, never again," because I literally can't hear traffic. So here we are.
I was once on a walk and I looked over and I had my headphones turned up too high and someone was like waving me down because I almost stepped on a down power line.
Ooh.
And like, sometimes if I see someone at the corner of my eye, I'll be like, a man's trying to talk to me, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But this time I was like, I have a feeling I should listen to this man. One of the few times in my life I've ever thought that. And I look over and he's like, a power line. And I look down and I'm like a cartoon character, like, so.
One of the few times you actually probably needed to listen to a man.
I know. So the lesson is maybe not turn your headphones all the way up. And sometimes it's okay to listen to a man. Sometimes.
Huh. I don't know if I'm going to heed that lesson, but I will not keep my headphones up. Half and half,
Sometimes men are good to listen to when they have these lovely voices. I'm a fan of deep, quiet storm voices.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the quality, not the content.
Yeah. For those who need an example, like say Idris Elba.
Oh, yes.
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 Obviously. Without question.
Yeah. So
that went off the rails. Sorry, y'all. Okay. So
it felt on the rails to me.
There you go. So really excited to be recording on the 37th anniversary of Anna Devane. Isn't that amazing? 37 years.
Wow. That's a lot. Congratulations to Finola Hughes.
Congratulations. And like fresh, like she could be a character who just came to us. We love her. Like it's just, she is like timeless and all of time.
Yes.
Like I didn't meet Finola on GH. I actually met her on All My Children. So a lot of her GH stuff I had to like catch up with, which has been like a real treat. Because she's like, how like you read a book and you're like, damn, I wish I could read that book again for the first time. Mm-hmm. That's what like discovering Finola has been like to me, where it's like I knew Anna Devane on AMC. And then I got to go back and watch all of this stuff from General Hospital. And it was like, I get to read my favorite book all over again. And it's like different content. So I've just loved it. I know, Sandra, you've been a longtime fan.
Yes. Yeah. Finola's been with me my entire life, basically. So I'm turning 37 in October. So like for real life. For anytime I would see her pop up outside of the GH universe, or like the ABC soaps universe, I would always be like, that's my Finola. Like, we're like a unit. And I think for me, like what you said, Tracy, is so spot on. Like she's just as like relevant and exciting and dynamic of a character as she was when she was introduced. Mm-hmm. And I'm also like so glad to have like known her. Like, I mean, my earliest memories of her character are from the early 90s. But to like live in this age of Finola when we can see her on screen, stories unfolding now, but also have things like YouTube to help us like refresh ourselves and remind ourselves of the power that stretches all the way back to 85. So I just feel so lucky to have been like a lifelong fan of her, but also to feel like I'm always discovering something like new about her. She just keeps it fresh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like you, Tracy. I think I really paid attention to Finola and Anna when she was on All My Children. I was a huge David and Anna fan. Um, Also, some storylines that I appreciated was, when Robin was coming back and she was on the search for, her daughter. And now, the romance between, her and Valentine is just, kind of coming along, but I'm loving the dynamic between the two. So yeah, I have huge admiration for Finola Hughes and Anna as a character. So yeah, really appreciative of what Finola brings to the GH. Looking forward to seeing another, if that's what she wants, another 37 years on the show. So yeah, she's definitely a legacy character that's cherished and appreciative, and love her.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What I do also love about her is that she genuinely seems to love her fans.
Mhm.
I have not ever heard of anyone having a bad interaction with her. And I'm sure, if you know me for a long time, you would have had a bad interaction with me. So, like to have someone who is that beloved and is always so grateful to meet people and genuinely seems touched by the love that she's given is a treat. I remember when she came to one of the spaces after she had the scene with Finn and everybody like really resonated with the like alone but not lonely line.
Mhm.
And so she came in and she talked to us about like the process that she had, and we were all on our best behavior. I know I personally, even though we were on spaces, sat up straight, like, okay, Finola is here. I should have proper tea right now. Like, but like to have someone who cares that much about the work and also cares about how it's received by us. It just shows in the performance every time, and it's shown for 37 years. So what a treat to be an Anna fan.
I also really a little Anna Finola JPS anecdote was at the GH convention. I think Jen shared this, but Finola like coordinates like the intimacy between her and JPS, like between Anna and Valentine. Like she'll be like, okay, you're gonna put your hand here and I'm gonna do this, and like because they were talking about, oh, like Vanna's so sexy, and JPS was like, that's all Finola. Like I just do what Finola tells me to do, and then we both look great. So she's kind of doing a little bit of everything, and maybe she can do some intimacy coordination for some of the other scenes.
Actors.
Yep.
Everyone needs a little help sometimes.
A little help from my friends.
Yes, and anyone would be happy to get help from the Finola Hughes.
Yeah. I got Sandra a cameo for their birthday last year. Maybe I posted today. It was so good. I wasn't even here to see it, so someone else recorded your reaction. I never posted the reaction.
The reaction was a lot. I ugly cried. There was like more crying that happened after the video cut too. Like it was a lot. I loved it.
I might post it today, just so that people can see. It was like lovely. Not Sandra's reaction, but the actual cameo from Finola. Well, such a great way to start the show, because I was not this positive about the week. So are y'all ready to hop into a recap?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Full disclosure again. Whew, the recap is lacking, but here we are. This is the stuff I pulled out for the week. Ava finds Esme at Windermere. She gives Nicholas an ultimatum and he sides with Esme. Ava meets with her attorney, I know that's right, and heads back home, letting Nicholas know that she 100% believes Sprina is innocent and that she will not be sharing a bed with him until Esme is off Spoon Island. Esme is thankfully not pregnant, and Laura comes to see Nicholas and asks him what the hell he's doing. She also talks with Esme, who maintains her innocence. Spencer goes to confront Sunny over intimidating Esme. Sunny tries to set him straight and tells him it's a mistake to side with Esme over the people who have been there for him. Not Sunny, though. Strange things are still happening at Elizabeth's. This time she has a strange dream with a man saying, quote, "Don't forget me." And she wakes up to a painting that says the same thing. We find out that she's turned off her security system because of the boys, which makes no sense, but okay. Jake and Aiden discuss the possibility of a ghost. DID ghost? Who knows? Okay, anyway. Selina Wu is doing her thing all over town, and she is doing it well. Kim everywhere, okay? She has something on Britt, and she warns Britt. She gets Sunny and Curtis to agree to gambling at the Savoy, and because of the Deception IPO launch party, we find out she is an investor at Deception. Also at the party, everyone finds out about Maxie and Austin. BLQ and Austin declare peace, whatever that means, and Sasha secretly pops more pills. Neil's brother blackmails Harmony. We find out that Willow and Nell were twins, hence they are both Nina's, also meaning that Michael has slept with all of Silas's daughters. Of course, this happens as the grandparents' visitation drama heats up amongst Wiley's adults. Nina serves Milo with court paperwork, and Michael makes a deal with a skeezy reporter. He punched to do a series of exposés against Nina. Sunny remains in love with Nina. Curtis and Portia have a housewarming party with the whole family, including Hat Daddy, who TJ invites. TJ and Trina share some scenes, which I loved. Hat Daddy's presence upsets Stella to the point where she has a panic attack and lands in the hospital. Everyone is also concerned for Trina, and with reporters targeting her family and the stress around her, Trina briefly considers taking the deal from the prosecutor's office so everything can just be over. Oof. Finally, Valentine is back and he is mustached. Sam and Dante tell Anna about an auction in French Polynesia for the Diamond Princess. Anna and her crypto from Duke's death head there with Felicia. They look fabulous, by the way. Valentine is, of course, already there and just out of sight as he charms and frames Jennifer Smith with the Ice Princess. P.S. I now ship Anna and the Ice Princess. That's what I got for the week.
That Ice Princess mesmerized a lot of people. Like I first did, like when Spencer was just like, I was like, and now Anna, that was crazy. And it looks like something that you can get at Sephora or at a mall. like one of those things, those gems that you buy at the mall, like the amethyst gems you can put in your house. So it looks
I was about to be like, oh, I'm gonna go over to Raven's Wing store by Lake Merritt, right? A little Ice Princess. If I knew the Ice Princess was just like raw clear quartz, then
yes, I mean
that's melt it together.
I mean that's straight acting to show that you were just in love with something that you can get at the mall.
Dude, we're really
power of Finola.
Right. Really clowning the GH props department.
I'm sorry, but it's like I when I saw it, I was like, "That's the Ice Princess."
It used to look even jankier than it does now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, because I was not feeling it, but you know, props to the actors who were giving off some real energy off of that piece of rock. But yeah.
The week, how did y'all feel about it? What were your favorite moments? What was your favorite moment of the week?
Go ahead, Sandra.
I thought overall the week was hard and also strangely balanced. and I'll talk more about that later. But I did appreciate the way that there were little pockets of enjoyment amongst a lot of like things that I didn't like. So there's that. That's very Libra response. My favorite moment was actually kind of hard because there were actually a lot of little things that I enjoyed throughout the week, but I'm gonna have to say Valentine's re-entrance as Captain Francois Olivier. I don't know what it was. Was it the ridiculous captain's outfit? Was it that he was a submarine captain? Was it the really bad fake French accent? Or was it the mustache?
Mustache.
Mustache for me.
Mustachioed Frenchman. I don't know. I think it was probably all of those things. You know, I didn't know what to expect from like a Valentine re-entry, but I did know I wanted it to be as extra as Valentine is. So success. I would say that was very successful. I appreciated seeing him. It's been a while since we've seen him like in full spy mode. So that was fun. I thought like seeing him like turn on the charm, but then also like when he was doing that whole like he's trying to break into the safe and Jennifer Smith was in the shower and she's like describing what she's doing in the shower and he's just like, yeah, sounds great.
Like, tell me all about it.
She was like, help towel me off. And he's like, what are you doing instead?
Private for me.
It was very, very entertaining, even though I definitely was left at the end being like, Valentine Cassadine, what the hell are you up to? So all those feelings aside, it's gonna have to be JPS re-entering the fray for me.
Mm-hmm.
The fun thing about it for me was the fact that he is actually doing something in opposition to what Anna is doing. So that makes their relationship fun, you know, it's like this is going to be more intriguing. They're going to have conflict. It's going to be great. And this is so different than what they're doing with Spencer and Trina. Like, this is something I'm excited about. But with Spencer and Trina, I'm like, no, stop. Don't. And so this is like, I don't know. I'm loving this ship right now versus our Sprina. And I'm still hopeful. But I'm like, this is now I'm putting my energy towards because.
Oh, yes. It was like, well-needed distraction.
Call me when they do something better for Sprina. Call Nicholas Chavez when they do something better for Sprina because I know he's feeling it. He's like,
yeah.
I would say my favorite moment, I think I have two. So I loved when Ava called Esme an off-brand sociopath. Yes. I was like, somebody's been reading Twitter. Like, it was amazing. And then I loved the small moment between Anna and Dante when Dante was like, be careful. And Anna was like, I'm fine, actually, Dante. Like, you chill out. Like, it was like so unspoken, but if you know, you know. Anna was like, be careful, shut up. You know what I mean? She didn't say that, but her face said that, like, I'll be fine. I love finding out that she turned Duke's money into crypto. Yeah. I was like, please. It was, so those are my favorite moments. Short and sweet.
To tack on the Anna piece, I also loved when she was like, when that dude was like, are you armed? And she was like, yes. Like, bitch, please. I am
the arm.
I am the arm. Okay.
Anna was like, I am the clearance in the armor. Okay. Like, what do you mean am I armed? Of course.
Just get behind me. I got this. So we know I love a little Anna Devane emasculation moment. So thank you for letting me tack that on.
That was great. For me, I mean, you guys hit the nail. I'm like, we're in sync this week. So my favorites were also Valentine with the mustache and Ava taking her house back. Loved every minute of that. And my other favorite was basically Selina Wu all week.
Yes.
Just winning all week. And my favorite out of all of the Selina scenes was her blackmailing Britt, because I was actually surprised by that. Because I was like, okay, first of all, I love the scene where Britt was kidnapped and then forced to go to a restaurant, and Selina had it all rented out, and Britt was like, I thought this was a friendly dinner, and Selina's like, no,
we're not friends.
Like, no, this is not a friendly dinner. You know, made it very obvious that she doesn't like her and doesn't want her part of Brad's life, and she has plans for Brad, and Britt is going to make it happen. And this is why, because I have something on you, and you know, I know all about your life, and you're going to do this, so I'm going to blow it up. So I love that, because I also thought it adds a layer to Selina Wu that I wasn't necessarily expecting. I thought she was just going to be intimidating and bullying Britt, even though she is with the blackmail, but it was a different, because she actually showed her power in the sense that she knows everything and everybody, and even about, you know, Britt's dad. And so that was great. And so I loved having that little dimension. And also I liked having a little mystery to try to figure out, what does she have on Britt? Like, and, you know, and also like the fact that Britt has some other mess that she needs to, you know, protect herself or figure out, you know? So love that it added layers to both Selina and Britt. So that was one of my faves too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What were you up to in 2016 in Liz? Britt?
Right.
Britt. Please don't tell me it was more mind mapping. I just don't.
Definitely was more mind mapping.
Oh, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Like, what else could it be?
What else could it possibly be? I know.
2016, that's all that was happening, right?
But Selina Wu just like throws Kim everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like very indiscriminate, but not game show like Cameron Matheson. Like, it's just so good.
I wouldn't say it's indiscriminate. I would say it's discriminate, but generous. Like, everyone gets a little bit of Kim. It is like a little different kind.
True.
But everyone's gonna get a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
True.
With Cameron, it is indiscriminate.
Definitely.
How do you feel about that?
So, Taya, who was your performer of the week?
So given that all of those scenes were my favorite, I'd have to give top spot to Lydia Look. Just because she, like, Selina was winning again, chemistry everywhere, discriminately so. And you know, she looked fabulous. She was just all out. So yay, Lydia Look. I would have to give my runner-up a tie between James Stewart and Maura Rest. But yeah, shout out to Finola Hughes though, because I know it's your anniversary. But I'm sorry, those were my tops.
Yeah, I mean, Lydia Look is just killing it, and I have never been like a huge fan of the mob stuff. But she makes me a fan or wants to know more about the mob. I think that we have not had women mobsters who have like brought what she has brought to the table. Because the person I'm thinking, aside from like Ava, was like Faith. And nobody respected Faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was not like that kind of character. Whereas the Selina Wu is like, oh no, when you're in her presence, you're in the presence of a boss. And that's completely with the portrayal. And so, yeah, I mean, she's great.
Yeah. she's gone for like from this like day player who showed up every once in a while that would just like always like capture our attention to this like main player driving the action, like making our like these really powerful characters on the show like shook every time she's in the room. Like,
Right.
what are we waiting for? Give Lydia Luck a contract, please. We beg of you.
Yeah. And then don't have her just be this one-off villain that we all want to die sooner or later. I want her to be like become a legacy character. I want to know more about her family and her background. Want more, I mean, other people besides Brad. I mean, I want it all. I want her to have a really long-term presence, excuse me, on this show. So yeah, do right by her. GH, we're watching.
Just like Selena's watching all in Port Charles, we are watching you, GH.
You, GH.
Literally every day.
So besides Selina Wu, what else is working for you guys this week?
Okay, I'll start us off.
Tell us what you really feel.
What is working? What is working, Sandra? Not what's not working. What is working?
I'm gonna start off with a little just like contextualizing, which is, you know, usually when Spencer or Trina are on during the week, one of them is gonna be like my favorite scenes. And if they're in the scenes together, that's gonna be my favorite scene. Like it's pretty reliable unless something really big is happening with Valentina or Anna. It's kind of like, I like that reliability. And I haven't been able to rely on that lately. But what I do appreciate is, even though like my fave storyline is like one I am absolutely not enjoying right now, I am appreciating the way that there's a more balanced spread of the characters and the storylines on the show right now. Like every storyline has at least like one MVP that I feel like I'm rooting for in some way, or like I'm intrigued by, or is bringing a little bit of something to break up some of the monotony that I think in the last couple of years. I think some of it's COVID, I think some of it is like the writing regime, what have you. But I appreciate that I think in the past couple years, there have been stories like the Nixon Falls storyline, for example, where I'm like, I don't care about anything or anyone in this. And I feel like there's a little bit of something for everyone in most of the storylines. Like, I loved Ava this week. Ava gave me everything I needed from her reactions, her taking back Windermere. Yes, it was so satisfying. One of my favorite moments was when Nicholas was like trying to explain himself and she was just like, enough. She just cut that bitch off. Like, I'm tired of hearing your stupid mouth. Honey, you're pretty. You're not a strategist. Oh yeah, because he was like, you and my mom think I'm so naive. And she's like, yeah. And look at what you're doing with yourself. Stop proving us right. So I, Maura always does the most with the least. I mean, that's what I feel like I always say about her. And so I appreciated her. I appreciated like Laura's reaction to Esme's like maybe pregnancy and like her relief, like those two, and like gave me what I needed to like kind of stomach the rest of the storyline.
Yeah.
And like Laura and Victor, that was a great little interlude, right? Like it didn't necessarily move along our plot, but it gave us some kind of indication that there's like even more to what's going on with Victor than what we knew. And it's like, it really made me question, like, oh my God, is he being sincere? What's happening here? It was very disorienting in like a really fun kind of way. Also that Chem he was throwing at Laura, I was like, what's happening here? And it's an example of like when a storyline can be kind of disorienting, but like in an intriguing way versus like disorienting in a how kind of way. And everything that you named about Selina Wu, right? Like she was really woven in between like Sunny, Curtis, Deception, her own storyline, with Brad and Britt. And I especially appreciated like finding out that she's a shareholder in Deception. I was like, I'm suddenly much more interested actually in the Deception storyline now.
Right.
I want to see where she comes into play. And I liked Trina and Hat Daddy. I was very surprised. I thought she made him the most likable that I've seen him be. And that's just also made me feel a little warm and fuzzy because the power of the Trinas is consistent across portrayer. You know, like, that's something that Sydney did. And I see that's something that Tabiam is able to do. And I also appreciate harmony in the Wiley's adult storyline and like what Inga brings to the character. Like she's such a talented actress. Like I could not care about Harmony this much if she wasn't as good as she is. And I think there's something about throwing her in the mix as a person who does very bad things but wants to be good and just like cannot be good no matter how hard they think that they're trying. So I think that's an important kind of character on soaps that we don't really have outside of Harmony on GH right now. Like Britt used to be that kind of character, and maybe they're bringing that back now with the whole blackmailing thing, but I think that's like an important balance to bring to the show. So yeah, basically I appreciate the way that all these folks are kind of sprinkled in, brightening up the storylines.
I actually really like Harmony, and this Neil reveal does not make me dislike her. It actually, I was saying this in like a Spaces, I think maybe yesterday. Neil's awful, and everything I learned about him makes him more awful. The idea that he might have told on her. So, and this is like the kind of real versus real world blurring. As a therapist, like nothing that Harmony told him was like to the point where he should have told anybody. Right? Like that was not like, as a mandated reporter as therapists are, nothing that she said, like mandated reporting is if you know a child is in danger, if somebody is like planning to kill someone. So the difference between I killed someone versus like I'm going to kill someone. If I killed someone, like you don't actually report that. If I'm going to, then you do. And if I'm going to harm myself, those are the three things that get reported. It's actually, so nothing that Harmony said should have been like put in a file and kept in a lockbox or whatever else to like go to his brother. So that actually made me dislike Neil even more. You kind of destroyed Alexis's life. You used like your power and your positional power over her to like destroy her life. And then you did this thing to Harmony. And so I think to Sandra's point, like there is like, we don't have these characters who are like complicated, who are actually trying. Like, I don't think this takes away from her redemption arc. The stuff that she did in the past does not take away from like how she was operating moving forward, when she was like trying to be better, when she was like not, I mean, to like the difference between like a Nina, right? Where she's like, oh my God, I don't understand why people are so mad at me. Harmony was like, no, I get it. I get why you don't fuck with me. And that was like really refreshing. She wasn't combative with people. She kind of took her lumps because she was wrong and then moved forward. And I think that to me shows that they got cold feet on the harm Lexus thing. You know, cold feet as in not Neil's cold feet from being dead, but like cold feet.
Okay.
But they got cold feet from Harm Lexus because they were actually, for me, building up Harmony to be a character that I really, really enjoyed. And I don't not enjoy, because like even now the desperate thing she's doing makes sense. The scrambling she's doing makes sense, and it does not make me dislike her.
Yeah. You know, I'm on board.
I do know.
Like, even if she does, like, I see her, she's gonna do some more bad things. Like, I don't even necessarily need her to be redeemed at this point. I do agree that they got cold feet about Harm Lexus, and that's why they're going in this direction. And maybe, maybe there is no opportunity for redemption moving forward, or it will be a very different path for her if she stays on the show and isn't
Ryan's about to kill her.
I know, really don't want that. But I appreciate that. To me, there's just more gray there. I know that's not like that for everyone. Like, there are people who are really attached to Neil for whatever reason. But for, like, even if I can't justify her behavior or apologize for it, I still enjoy watching her. And I'm like really, really glad she's on the campus and would like for her to stay.
Yeah. I'm a little glad they got cold feet because I don't want Alexis to be happy. That's it.
Yeah, that's
you know what? You guys have Marcus Paloma. NLG is it for me. I want her to be angsty, sad, single, spinster for the rest of her life. Okay, go ahead.
Seem to be the direction that they're taking it. So
I'm not mad at it. So that was, I just wasn't expecting it. Like, that was just it. I would say the thing that's working, it's so funny because like last week we had this conversation and our YouTube comments were just like, y'all are obsessed with race. And I was like, thank you for noticing. So I will say that was working for me is Black people. I really enjoy the build out of the kind of like Ashford Robinsons. I'm sad that like Sean is gone. I don't think that we only could have one Black family. I would love for the Wards to come back, but I am really enjoying this build out. Like the scene with the housewarming, it was just like great. I remember, I never watched Young and the Restless, but I remember like, be at somebody's house and their grandma will be watching it and seeing scenes of just Black folks. Like that family was on and it was like a holiday or whatever. And so being able to see that scene was really powerful, to see Trina actually be able to bond with Black people. So her and TJ was really powerful. I really enjoyed the scenes again with Hat Daddy or Hat Granddaddy, depending on how it goes. It was the fastest we've ever seen him talk. She moved him along. She moved him along. And so I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed like people like Curtis actually being concerned about her, the relationship she has with Stella and the concern she has, like actually giving Trina family that she's able to bond with, or people she's able to bond with outside of her mom and Ava, really works for me. And I'm interested to see what happens. And I hope that whatever paternity situation happens or doesn't happen doesn't implode, being able to see people together in relationship and dealing with that dynamic together as opposed to apart. I actually don't need Curtis to be talking to Nina about the stuff, like, right, you know what I mean? Like, it meant something that Molly wasn't in that scene. Like, it was like purposeful that was like the scene of black people, and I enjoyed it and appreciated it. What about you, Tanya?
Yeah, let me talk about a little mix of what is and what isn't working, because I want to address your comment around the Black family working. It is working for me. I really appreciate having that, housewarming scene. What though, unfortunately, what's not working for me is the pace of some of the storylines within the Black family. So I'm still thinking like the Hat Daddy secret is taking too long. I need that to come out. And I'm a little confused about what's going on with Stella. Is she nervous about Hat Daddy, or is she nervous about Curtis's divorce? Because she seems to be remembering her not divorce. She keeps remembering what she did to sabotage that. So I'm not quite sure what is actually bothering her more. And so I need them to figure that out. And maybe it will come out more when Hat Daddy's secret comes out. I don't know. But there's a lot of things that stress Stella out. But I do enjoy her being on the scene. and I enjoy the family being together, but it just seems the stories are just dragging along a little bit too much for me. But what is working again, I mean, we talked about it already. Selina Wu story is working, her being there is working. Loving the Anna Felicia capers continue on, loving that they're still, you know, in the lead and really finding out what's going on, and that there's still more of a mystery, so that way it's not ending. Loving that they're fabulously dressed and they're going all over the world. It's just, I'm loving them together. So yes, so that's definitely still working for me.
Okay.
Them in the investigation is working for me more than Laura and them, because Laura and them, I mean, yes, they're bringing in great tidbits of information for Anna to move forward, but it seems like they're not necessarily progressing as fast. I don't know why I see them as two separate things. Maybe that's another thing that's not working. They're not necessarily, I don't see them as a big cohesive team to bring down Victor, because I feel like Anna and Felicia are winning. And then the others aren't. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that there's something to the pacing, and part of it is, I think, if we had, you know how sometimes they like reveal stuff to the audience before they reveal it to like everybody else on the canvas. And so I wonder if part of the problem with the pacing of like Hat Daddy and Stella is like that nobody knows. Like it would be, I think it would be easier for me to stomach it if we actually knew what was going on when everybody else didn't. That feels like part of the problem to me. I don't know.
I felt like we got the, like, it's moving too slow, and we also got the most we've gotten with that whole or at least I was intrigued in a good way by Stella calling him after she's had the panic attack and being like, you better keep lying to Curtis. I laughed my ass off. I was like, you know what? This is very messy. Stella, you are being extremely messy, and I love it. Keep
You're
being
doing
messy.
amazing, sweetie.
You're doing amazing, sweetie. And whatever it is that you did, I'm sure you had good reasons.
Yeah. It's good. The reasoning is good enough for me, is what I'm saying, Aunt Stella.
I don't know what you did. I don't know why, but I'm sure it was for a good reason. But I'm just messy.
I guess I can go into what's not working to kind of add on to what Tanya was saying. For me, it's the continued lack of investment in real relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I just, we know that like plots are richer when they are like rooted in relationship, and they just keep doing things that make it so transparent that they're building relationship for the plot. So like last week, for example, I really praised the Carly Sam friendship, which is something I still really do like as a fan of the show and as a big fan of Sam. But we have spoilers coming up showing that Sam is essentially going to like betray the trust in her relationship for Carly. And the problem with that is that they feel like they've only built the Sam Carly relationship to get us there. That the build has been really one-sided. And even when Carly was like asking Sam, like, oh, how's Dante? Sam was like, oh, no, that's fine. Let's talk about what's going on with you. And these are characters who have really been on for a long time, been in each other's orbits for a long time, that we can see a build that's bigger than that and stronger than that. Because now it just feels so transactional in a way that doesn't make the story better. Sam checking Carly has always been one of my favorite like dynamics, because like if through their build of their relationship, it's like Sam has checked Carly, Carly has been humbled, and then they like leave and like, okay, girl, I love you. Like that has been, I think, the dynamic that's worked for a character like Carly and a character like Sam. So to like know that we've only seen them axe throwing, we've only seen them like whatever in an attempt to like make something make sense, as opposed to like say we actually do need more like relationships and friendships like this, like it has really felt flat for me. Sorry, I can't even talk. Yeah, it's really fell flat for me. Um, yeah, I think that there's like something around Sam's point of view. I would have loved for Sam to be talking to Carly about Dante. I would love for them to talk about their kids. Like, Carly's obsessed with Jason and that damn bridge. Like, let's talk about Danny and how he's doing. Like, Carly should actually be concerned with like the kids of the people that she says she's cared about. So like we've seen that show up in the lack of concern for Spencer, and now we're seeing it show up in like a lack of concern for Danny. And it just makes Carly's character like it it lessens like what her character could be. And I see that they are going in a direction of trying to build her up into that, and it's just not working because everybody is doing things for her and she is not doing anything for them. I talked about like the relationship with Lulu back in the day when it was like Julie's Lulu being like something that really was good for Carly, that really grounded her, because she was like a person that gave Lulu advice. It wasn't just about what Lulu could do for her. And then it actually made the story that much better when their relationship imploded, because you saw that they had like an investment in each other. So just the lack of investment, Sam and Carly being just one example, like the non-investment of that like late 20s, early 30s scene. There's no reason that like Willow and Michael weren't at the Deception IPO launch. Like, just make it work. Like, they're supposed to be friends with Sasha, right? Like, I don't care what else is happening. Like, make that work. It just, there's just no relationship building that's not plot driven.
Yeah, that Deception IPO stuff was very weird. Like, no one was there that wasn't like directly tied to it, except for Felicia and Anna were like the only people who were there because they were supporting. And then like the singing didn't happen, which was like being built up as like this whole like, well, my people like usually sing at the nurse's ball, and that's like all this drama between Chase and like why wasn't Chase there? It was just it, and like why was it just a day? Like this, I thought it would be like an event, right? Like, oh, things will happen. This is a big deal, and it. I'm sure they like we didn't even get crazy Sasha moment. I was like she popped the pill. I thought she was gonna give a really crazy speech.
No.
Fine. It's like, what's happening here?
You got Gladys giving like a side eye because Sasha didn't say her name. That was it. Like, just
I
the
think
lack of drama.
Brando looked a little uncomfortable, but that was pretty much it too. I think he was like thinking maybe thank your husband, but yeah.
I think he was uncomfortable because they were talking. She kind of referenced Liam in the speech.
Oh yeah.
He was like, people who aren't with us, and that's when he was kind of like, But it didn't feel like enough for like I'm concerned. Like it was like, oh well, yeah, she brought up. It's actually good for that. It actually was a positive sign that she was acknowledging Liam at all, because she hasn't been. So I was very confused by that. And it was like you said, Tracy, it was like an opportunity for a relationship to like showcase relationships in a different way besides people just like sitting around talking to each other at the Metro Court, and they didn't leverage it.
Actually, I was thinking about it. I mean, the only relationship Carly has that's not transactional is with Sasha at this point. Because she does give Sasha advice, or she does tell her, you be careful. I think she's one of the ones that noticed when she was high before. And again, why wasn't Carly at the party?
Maybe because Nina was there.
Sasha the best out of Michael's, girlfriends, ex-girlfriends, because she's like the only one that wasn't actually related to Nina.
Well, except for that one girl that died, unfortunately.
Oh, Abby.
Yeah. Abby, and what's her name?
Sabrina,
yeah.
Well, she didn't really like either of them.
Well, maybe Sasha is related because Nina actually had triplets.
Oh, please, God, no.
God, no.
Because how is Nina gonna break apart that necklace now? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to break it into threes.
Gonna have to refuse it and then break it into thirds.
I was thinking about the necklace. I was thinking maybe the necklace wasn't actually meant for Nina to have. Maybe it was for the twin sister. And then Nina got a hold of it for some reason. But anyway.
Good thinking. I just loved that they acted like that heart necklace. I mean, it's just like the paternity and maternity reveals on this show are wild. Like,
Yeah.
I am your dad. Here's my hat off. I am your mom. Here is this half necklace that anybody can get from like Claire's. Like, it was just. Does it match up?
Here's this birth certificate that I wrote out in crayon.
We are clowning the prop department right now.
The crayon that I got from Scotty Baldwin's briefcase.
Yeah. He's got every color in the rainbow in there. Okay. Scott is prepared with his
Anyway, so that's not what's working for me. What's not working for y'all?
Oh, that was a very good conversation. I was like, what? Oh, that's what we're talking
well,
about.
the props are not working for Tom.
None of the props are working for me. Got to do better. What is it? Oh, well, maybe I don't know. I'm just like the flip for Curtis now wanting to do this dirty deal with Selina Wu. I'm glad that he is, but I'm just like, you were so adamantly against it. He's showing his hypocritical nature for show. And I'm just like, ugh. I don't know. I'm sorry, Curtis. I'm just not liking
Don't apologize to him
character at all. I'm just like, get over it or do it legitimately. You keep talking about how you want people to act legitimately. Yeah, you know, the minute you need something, you go ahead and do something shady. That and well, again, Liz's story is just not working for me at all. I mean, first, does she have DID or what? I want it to move on, and I don't want it to be a ghost because that's silly. I mean, I don't blame the kids for thinking that because you know they have active imaginations. Kind of opposite the way the writers are, but I don't like it. I needed to move forward, and you know, I was thinking, I was just like, why is Finn sleeping on the couch? Are they not sleeping together?
They're not sleeping.
I'm just like, but why is he sleeping on the couch? He has a home. Go home.
We've seen the set, Finn. We know you have a home.
Right. Stop dragging your little girl over to that woman's house. If you guys are going to move together, move in together. I'm just annoyed.
I'm right there with you.
I see every piece. I want vampiric DID.
Yes.
I accept nothing less for the Liz storyline. It's gone on too long.
Clearly, that was her DID alter, Caleb the vampire.
Yes.
And that's clearly what it was. People are like running with the it's Franco's ghost thing.
But it didn't even sound like Franco.
That's the thing. I'm like, well, y'all realize Roger still works on the show?
Yeah, he could have given the Franco voice. Like
he was available for filming if it was Franco's ghost. That was neither Roger nor Franco, unless they're going to recast Franco just for the ghost, which I mean, I guess. But I don't really think they have the budget for that, to be honest.
Like, yeah, that would have been. I don't understand why they had another body stand-in for the ghost, because obviously the guy was not Roger.
No.
Why did they do that?
It's not a ghost. It's not a ghost. Even
if it's not a ghost, if she's imagining it, why didn't she imagine actually Franco?
Because it's her DID alter, Caleb the vampire. Tanya, follow along. Don't you see?
I don't.
It's
you guys are making me cry and
We're being ridiculous.
Well, what else can you do when this is what they give us? I walked out of this week. I have so much to say about Spencer, my child, but I'm gonna keep going.
Oh gosh.
Is it my turn to talk about
it is.
Right. I was just gonna talk about Spencer. So what's really not working besides just Spencer is this is a larger problem with the show, but he's a great example. GH really overestimates how much we care about man pain in 2022.
Preach.
The show has always been like heavy on the man pain. You know, we have like Sunny as like the classic example of like the problematic man who is redeemed because of his past. You know, he justified his like abusive dynamic with Brenda because of the abuse at Deke's hands. You know, his bipolar disorder is at the source of a lot of like abuse and toxicity in his relationships. And then like most recently, his man pain has been about, well, of course, there's still the bipolar disorder piece, but also like the emotional conflict and trauma around Nixon Falls. Like people are just supposed to be patient with him and empathetic with him, but because he's just gone through all these things, regardless of how it impacts the people in his life. And so when he said to Spencer, basically like, don't be like me, that hit right. That was right on. I don't think that maybe they meant it in this way, but I was just like, yeah, Spencer, don't be like your Uncle Sonny. Because I think there's a lot of ways that, you know, we have empathized with Spencer because of the pain and trauma that he's been through, right? Like he was basically an orphan. He got sent away. Then he had the whole drama with Ava, and then Nicholas coming back and choosing her. And it's like, yeah, like I've been there. I've been right there with him, apologizing and understanding. And I actually do, I think a lot of people have talked about recently, and I get this, but I actually do understand why he's doing what he's doing. Like I understand it on an intellectual level. I even understand it on an emotional level. Like abuse and isolation makes you do wild shit. Like unplanned pregnancy for a teenager, get it. Backsliding, self-sabotage, my therapist can tell you, I know about that. However, I don't want to see it anymore. Right? Like to quote Tanya, I just don't want to see it anymore. There's like only so much that it is compelling to see him kind of make the same mistakes over and over again, especially when it's so negatively impacting a character like Trina, who is like the most likable thing about Spencer is his relationship with her. Now, I am one of those people who do fuck with Spencer outside of the relationship with Trina for all the reasons that I've listed, because, you know, I've been with this character since he was born on the show. Like he's always been my favorite of like the White Legacy kids. But the way in which they're contrasting, like we had what, three or four full days of him and Esme. And then when they picked, or I guess it was 3 days, and then there was 2 days of Trina. And I found myself for the first time being like, I'm ready to not see him for the rest of the week. By the time Wednesday hit, I was like, I'm done with you. I don't want to see you anymore. And then even when they brought Trina in as like kind of like the extension of this, you know, of like, okay, let's pick up on Trina's point of view. It was even hard for me to, it was really hard for me to enjoy her because of like this narrative around her being this martyr and like considering pleading guilty just to like not cause problems or inconvenience for people in her life. So that contrast of like how selfish he is and like weak versus Trina, who's so strong and selfless. It made me even like, I felt like I didn't get a reprieve from him and his nonsense. Like I was like, oh no, I'm still very, very angry at you. So like, I don't need for him to be perfect. I've never needed for him to be perfect, but I do need something to shift in his characterization, in the way that they're writing him. And it's not about Nicholas Chavez. It really never is. It's really about they're overestimating how much of his dysfunction that we can really tolerate when it's so deeply impacting the people around him, especially Trina. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if he is playing some sort of master game, they could have given us a tiniest bit of clue just to kind of keep us reeled in instead of pissing us off. And it doesn't seem like they're going that route. And I'm just like, okay, well, then I don't want to see this dude being, lured in by another, weeping white woman. I'm not trying to see that. Especially over Trina.
When we know it's like this has already been established, their dynamic. We actually don't need to see more of it to understand it. We've seen
right.
It.
Yeah. I would say I said this to Sandra this week while we were watching some stuff about Trina, is that what we are seeing with Trina is almost like the redemption arc that you would like, what she's going through is like what you would see of the redemption arc of a villain. Like everything is hitting her from all sides. It's this romance, it's her family, it's her friends, and it's like, damn, like, is this like punishment for y'all letting her do like the art gallery? Like, what is going on? It's actually too much. And I think, especially for like, I mean, we were like original Sprina fans. Before Nicolas Chavez like stepped on the scene, when we heard Spencer was coming back, we were like, oh, that's for Trina. Period. Like, it was like we were ready. And so to be in a place where I don't even want to see them together right now is really difficult. And I think it also overplays. We actually don't have anything good to hold on to. Everything that's been good for Sprina has kind of been taken away. And I think I might have said something like this last week, but you think about like, he threw her that party, Esme planned that party, that book, she gave it back, like that they have been people, he's been somebody you're like, okay, he's messed up, but he loves him some Trina. And then to see his behavior, we all were really clear going in like, oh yeah, people are gonna like doubt Trina, we're gonna have to throw Kim and Joss away, but we know Spencer's gonna be down for her. And to see like Kim and Joss be the people who are like the most down for her, and have Spencer like not only doubt her but then go be hurtful to her, is really difficult to watch. And it was unnecessary to bring in like Rowena with Trina and Rory, because we already were there. So many of us already had said we actually don't want Trina just sitting around waiting on Spencer, that we actually would love to see Trina get some attention from elsewhere. It was actually unnecessary to like push us to this place with this pairing. And so and for Trina to be like treated like it's actually being pushed too far for this to just be like, oh, this is what happens to a soap heroine. It actually is not just what happens to a soap heroine, because people still have a little bit more grounding than what she has. And it's been really difficult to watch as a Trina fan, to watch like this pile up happen on her.
Mm-hmm. That was part of the reason that when she was contemplating pleading guilty, that actually took me out more than any of these like scenes with the new Trina, with Tabiana as Trina. I think there was a way in which the arrest was just like, I was so in shock, I didn't really fully process it. But when that piece around her contemplating pleading guilty, it really was like, it put into perspective like how much she's going through, and then on top of all this, she feels responsible for it, even though she didn't do it.
Yeah.
It felt like a beat that was unnecessary. When, I mean, all these beats have felt so unnecessary, but that one in particular, I was like, we don't need this. Actually.
Especially for a character who has been good. I think, Sandra, you talked a lot about like the situation on AMC with like Greenlee and Leo, and him not believing her, and that being really different because Greenlee has been a mess. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that followed the thread with her character. With Trina, she's been all good. The way they've written her has been hardworking, reliable, good friend, good daughter, all of these things. to the point where she even felt bad for covering for Spencer for a couple of weeks.
Right.
So to take a character like that and then put them in legal trouble that like jeopardizes the future that we've seen them be so invested in. I mean, this is a kid who we saw at what, 16 walk into an art studio and like talk her way into a job. And like be able to be mature, to like be a grounding force for the adult characters around her, to then be put in this situation. And that is why like the race piece does matter, because they've let Spencer talk about how, oh my God, I have this record now, look what this means to me. Like, you're a prince, it doesn't matter. But what would a record like that actually mean to Trina as a Black woman who has done all of these things to put herself ahead? Who has been like, her character is like one of the favorites in PCU, where the professors were like, you seem quiet, you know, like, I'm concerned. So to have somebody who is that character go through all of that, and to your point, Sandra, like be like, maybe I'll plead guilty to a crime I didn't commit that could change the course of my life. It just feels like too much of a pile on for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you guys said. It's just making me sad,
Mm-hmm.
like really sad for her and having to deal with all this and pissed off all over again. And I don't want to visit that. But yeah, they keep doing it. And the fact that she feels bad and she's still wondering. She hasn't let go of Spencer. She's still wondering why he doesn't believe her. And that's because having her focus on him of all things also doesn't seem necessarily within her character. Like I would be freaking out that I could possibly be going to jail, figuring out, you know, all this. That man needed to be let go because he has done so many things wrong and is the reason why she's in this situation in the first place. I mean, yeah, I mean, she probably believes it was Esme, but it's really because of Spencer that she's in that position and he's not doing anything to help her get out of it. I can't wait for the scene with Portia and Spencer, if that's happening, because that's going to be must-see TV. I might even take the day off.
Yep.
Just for that. Her and Maura, when Maura finds out everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the day off. Yeah.
There's also something for me, I think, about the fact that, you know, Sydney's Trina played her feelings for Spencer so close to the vest. And so we didn't get a whole lot of point of view around how she felt about Spencer. So to make this shift that Taviana's Trina is like, all she can think about is that Spencer did this thing or betrayed her or doesn't believe her, feels so off. And that's to your point around it feeling a little bit out of character, that we never got this kind of point of view from Sydney's Trina. We just never saw her. We knew she cared about Spencer. We knew she probably even loved him, but she was so much more than that relationship. And so to be in this level of trouble and all you can think about is whether or not Spencer believes you, like it is very heavy-handed.
Yeah. I think it's also like, even if that was, you know, like sometimes an obsessive thought when you're upset gets stuck and you're like, why do I keep fixating on this thing? Like that I get, but that she's confiding in everyone about it does not feel like Trina. Like she never talked about her feelings for Spencer, like hardly ever.
Not even most her best friend, right?
Yeah, it was mostly to deny it. It's like the most vulnerable she's ever been about Spencer was with Laura. And so for her all of a sudden to be talking to like Portia about it, and like for Curtis to know that that's what she's upset about, and talking to Drew about it, and like her talking to Hat Granddaddy about it, just felt, maybe if like she had talked to Hat Granddaddy about it, just as like, I barely know you, so maybe like sometimes that can be easier to like talk about situations with people you don't really know, but it's just weird that it's like every conversation she's having is like all of a sudden like everyone knows that I love Spencer, and that feels odd. It feels very off to me. But you know, here's to another week. We'll talk about that later. The previous
yeah. Free for all hot takes.
Yes.
That's where we are. Do you have any hot takes?
I wrote something down so I write my thoughts on by day. And so for Monday, somebody said, I hope I didn't mean to cause any trouble. I don't know who said that, but I was just like, ma'am, I feel like it was Nina, because I don't like her right now. But I don't remember who it was. So that just bothered me. And Amy, busybody? What the hell? Like for no reason. I'm like, I need you to sit down. Just like, the hatred. That was just wrong. Scotty, I love Scotty, but why is he being a Nava champion?
That was weird.
Hated it.
I was like, what? You should not know. But I mean, I know he's happy and everything, but Ava's still queen. You should be wanting her away from Nick. So yeah, didn't feel like that. And it was really surprising to me the way Spencer flashed at Sunny, even though it was deserving, but still, he was very aggressive with Sunny. And I was like, you don't talk to your someone you respect that way. I kind of took it as a, Black child talking to their mama any kind of way. I was like, what are you doing? So that was surprising to me. Again, Sasha drinking and drugging. I don't know what it is about GH and this mixing bad drugs with alcohol and not showing any kind of effects, but it's really bothering me on a personal level. I need them to stop doing that. Like she can't, well, I guess when you're an alcoholic or a drug abuser, after a while, it's not that, it's like, you don't get that much of a reaction, huh?
I think it depends. It depends. Who knows? I'm assuming she's on uppers, so she's doing a little upper downer mixer, which is
makes you more even keel. I don't know.
No, I mean, it's actually a very dangerous combination.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, why is GH playing like these mixing of drugs is no big deal? Because that is a big deal. Like you mentioned she didn't even give that strange of a speech, right?
I think also uppers and downers, part of the danger of it, oh my God, this is me showing my ass, is that it can make you seem more sober than you actually are, like seem and feel, and then you do too much. And that's part of the danger of it.
Well, she hasn't done too much yet, so
she's due for another OD heart attack at any point.
Okay, well, they need to hurry that up. And I wrote the Nicholas and Ava scene where they're like talking really close and stuff. I wrote, this would have been so much hotter if it was, but never mind.
Was Tyler Christopher.
Yes.
I'll say it loudly. It will be so much hotter if it was Tyler Christopher. Can I please? Tyler Christopher, we miss you.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all I had.
Tyler Christopher.
You better do that enunciation.
I have a few. I think mostly having to do with the beginning of the week, because that's when my notes start to drop off, obviously. Yeah. I have a lot of Terry notes.
I was going to say, it's like I didn't have any notes for Thursday and Friday, but Monday through Wednesday was like
tale as well as time. So fuck Amy. She is my nemesis. She is my enemy. I do not like her. I didn't feel this strongly about her before Monday. And here's why. Mind your business. Mind your business. So what if Brad has done some things? This is a hospital. People are allowed to be in a hospital. What if he needed medical treatment? What if he was there visiting someone sick and dying? Or what if he was there as he was for a job interview? And guess what, Amy? That's none of your business.
What if Amy was minding her business?
Do you have hiring and firing power at this general hospital? No, do not. You are a nurse. You are a junior nurse. You are not even a head nurse. So why don't you stay out of Asian folks' business, okay?
Parallel. Parallel.
It's applicable, you know.
It's always applicable.
Because I was loving the Terry Brad scenes. I've been wanting them for a while. And Terry is literally the only person that can say shit to Brad about what he did. Like, she's literally the only person I'll take it from. Everyone else, I'm just like, Wiley was happy, okay? He liked having two dads.
But I love that it was Terry that checked her too.
Yes. I love, yeah. Terry was like, I'm chief of staff. So actually I can do whatever the hell I want. Goodbye. But when Amy started going, security, I was like, all right. Amy. Okay, Chet's sister, which is what I will now be referring to you as. Also, this is Chet's boo that you're talking to. What are you doing? And I was such a clown. When we saw those text exchanges between Chet and Terry, I was like, so are they setting it up so that she'll be at the Deception IPO launch and he'll surprisingly show up and sweep her off her feet? No? Okay.
Again, better imagination than the writers.
I did see that Cassandra was filming this week, so I'm hoping we're getting a cherry reunion for my sweeps, and nobody better tell me otherwise. Okay.
We're gonna hold on to that. We're gonna hold on to it.
Thank you. Light a candle. Selina Wu can pull my strings anytime. That's a complete thought. I also want Ava and Selena to have a face-off for most devastating entrances. Like, they both know how to enter a scene like nobody else. And so I would love a face-off between them. Also, they're also my new crack ship. I was like, I would really love an Ava Selena ship. I'm gonna think more about like ship name and all of that, but that's what I'm gunning for. It all came about
Seva.
I like it. But yeah, those were my most important thoughts. Oh, Josh Swickard has been practicing his smoldering looks. I did catch that with the Chalin scene, where he kept like looking at her. And I was like, good job, Josh. Those are some good looks. I believe this. What I don't believe is anything else that's going on in this story. Why are you all not together? And that's not your fault. That's the writer's fault. Mm-hmm. Just put them, there's this fake tension makes no sense. And then why did we have this whole like song thing? Why did you pretend like you were going to give us Eddie Main and then you didn't give us Eddie Main? I guess they might still, but like, what are we doing with Chalin? And this is someone who is not invested, but I am invested in it progressing and moving along.
My very last hot take was BLQ and Chase, ? What is up with this fake angst? second question mark. Like, who cares? Be together. We actually need a couple like them being very rom-commy and silly to balance out the rest of the canvas. The angst between them is forced and fake and nobody cares.
Even if it was like more comical fake angst, you know, like being played like these two dummies just can't get it together. But it really is like played like serious angst, and I do not understand why.
It's just not necessary. I do agree that he has been practicing his looks. I want Chase to be bearded. I like a bearded Chase. I'm not a fan of I also like Chase in, his home with gray sweatpants on. That's like my favorite Chase look.
Yes.
Thank you, Lauren, for borrowing your husband to us. We appreciate you. But yeah, BLQ and Chase just need to be banging it out like rabbits. Like, who cares? That's what they should be doing. Every time we see them, they are childless. They, like, just be in bed together. That's it.
We know there's a bedroom set for BLQ. Use it.
Use it. You beautiful dummies need to be in bed all day, every day. That's what you need to be doing. People need to be like, where are Chase and Brooklyn? And then cut to them in bed.
Yes. Oh.
Let me write this. I want to walk into the writer's room like Olivia Pope and be like, this is what we're doing.
It's been handled. Here are the storylines for the next 2 years.
And it will be better than we'll see.
I'm going to need something better for the 60th anniversary.
Ugh.
When I was on chat rooms way back in the day, ABC chat rooms, when they had them on the website.
Tell me more.
I had a persona, a Black girl persona who would jump into soap operas and fix things, like a busybody, almost like an Aunt Stella but younger. And so that's what when you said that, like you wanted to jump into the writer's room, it reminded me of that kind of made up character I had that would just go in and be like, pause. Now I'm going to put here and here, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, unpause. And then she runs out.
This will be actually better than Elizabeth's Ghost.
Pitch it to Netflix.
All right, so here are a couple of my hot takes beyond what we talked about. Sunny did not do enough to like tell Spencer how crazy Esme was.
Right.
It felt like very disjointed. Like, you should have very clearly said, I brought her here. She was fine. And then when Victor and Nicholas showed up, she started screaming, and it was crazy.
It was fake screaming. Like,
it was
she
fake,
wasn't.
It was crazy.
Screaming. Yes.
To be fair, Maurice doesn't seem like he's really been delivering dialogue as written for a while now. So there might have been something more coherent that was written, but that's what he chose to deliver.
That was like when he forgot Wiley's name.
I don't apologize for the writers often, but yes, he forgot Wiley's name that one time. And then I still cannot get over the other week when he just stopped mid-sentence and said, it doesn't matter. I will never get over it. I'll never get over
it. Not enough people are putting together that Trina was drugged. It's just not happening. So first of all, why have Spencer and Esme not been brought to the police station? Spencer was there, Dante sent him away. Y'all are not investigating. If Dante and Jordan are like in this position where they're like, oh yeah, Trina probably didn't do it, and the victims have named it was Esme, then why hasn't Esme been in? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Because however Esme got back to the cabin should be tracked. Did she take a car? Like, what did she do? Right? Like, there's has to be something that I'm getting okay. So like that was just, I don't know, like not enough people. So my fan fiction for Rowena is that Rory figures it out and saves Trina. Like Rory figures out that Trina was drugged at the cabin. Cause like the whole thing just doesn't make sense. And like what, like even how Spencer said it, like, okay, so you thought she was so drugged, or no, so upset and drunk off of one hot toddy, which I've never been drunk off a hot toddy, but so upset and so drunk off of one hot toddy that she went to bed and then she premeditated setting up a camera for her to film her friends. And then when she happened to be sober, she uploaded it weeks later. Like somebody got to put the story together for me, and it's just not happening. So I'm hoping that Rory does that. Also, all of these people, Brick, Spinelli, everybody trying to prove that Trina's innocent, and they can't against Esme. All right, make it make sense. Oh, sorry, they can't make it make sense because it doesn't. And then Sona. Now, no one would ever mistake me for a Sona fan, but that scene with Nina, oh my God, what happened to your eye? Girl, he kills people. Okay? Shut the fuck up about his eye. This is a mob boss. All right? And you out here swabbing with peroxide the like cut above his eye. I'm sorry. Do you know he shot Dante in the chest once? Like, please stop it. I really wish that they would have played Sona in a way that was like Sonny just could not stay away from her. Like, you know, he was bad, he had all this pain, all this angst, but he just couldn't stay away from her because the feelings were so strong. This like, oh my God, we're so cute, we're like helping each other clean each other's wounds, look at us, we're adorable. Like, you're not, and it doesn't work, and I hate it. But just like Milo keeps going, I'm sure Sona will keep going too. I just don't want to see it, so keep putting them in scenes together, and I'll keep fast forwarding. Sorry, Laura, right?
Because I've been watching live, I can't fast forward, but I do dissociate during their scenes.
They're not good.
No.
I haven't tried to give it a chance. That would be a lie. I don't want to lie to y'all. I've tried not to hate it. I've never tried to like it, but I've definitely tried not to hate it. It's bad.
It's not good. No.
Every time I hear somebody say it's cute, I'm like, we have different definitions of cute.
Yeah.
My last hot take.
It's bad. It's bad. Oh, go ahead.
A comment on the lack of investigation. I mean, I don't know if they're waiting for something. Like all the scenes that they had about Spencer and Trina, they could have interspersed with somebody doing some kind of investigation into why Trina was in there. Like maybe even a scene of Dante going to the electronics store or dusting for fingerprints or anything. Any kind of investigation. It could have been interspersed with all of this where we can see the evidence piling up against Esme and giving them a reason to bring Esme in, but we're not seeing any of it. It's like, why?
Well, Sandra will get to it in previews, but that's not what's happening actually.
Direct.
And if we showed any real investigation, they would have to show how stupid this is.
That is unfortunately very correct. I will on one last comment for me from on this storyline before we talk about what's going to happen next. I'm still very much on I don't know why this is my fixation. I'm like, Spencer does not have a plan. I don't know why I feel the need to keep reiterating that when I know some people are holding on to it for self-preservation reasons, like they have to believe that he has a plan. But he's had every opportunity to bring someone in to help him. So, and he needs that. He cannot pull off a plan on his own. Not just because I think he's stupid, which I do, but also because like this is why not clue in someone like Sunny, right? Someone like Laura, someone like even Ava. I mean, I can see why he wouldn't confide in Ava, but like talk to someone. There was like no need for him to say all the things that he said to Trina if he didn't actually, if he had another plan in play. There was no need to.
Yeah.
So I think that he will eventually have a plan.
I was gonna say that.
But he does not have a plan right now.
He will get a plan. He does not have one.
No. And honestly, it should be someone else's plan that he like helps to execute. Or at least
he
like,
does that.
Not actively fuck up. How about that?
Yeah.
He loves to fuck up a plan, which other times has been very enjoyable to me. Like when he fucked up his plan by like chasing after Trina, when he should have been stalking Ava. I loved him fucking up his plan then. Like when he confessed to stalking Ava because Trina was getting in trouble. See, that kind of stupidity for Spencer really works for me. This
does not work. Well, why don't you preview, since we are so depressed, we do not do predictions anymore. We just preview.
I know. I had a conversation with Tracy about this. At the end of last week, I was like, I can't do any more predictions.
No predictions, because it also doesn't make any sense. Like, there's just no logical follow of the story. Oh, I'm sorry. One more hot take. I've said this before, and I want to say it again. Nobody cares about Willow and Nina. That shit would have been more interesting 2 years ago. Sam and Alexis have already done this better. I don't care. It's dumb. It's dumb.
And so fitting that it was like a take that we forgot until the very end, because that should have been a huge reveal. And everyone was just like, yeah, we knew that. Like some of us have known that for years.
For years.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
The only surprise is that she's a twin and not just Nina's sole daughter.
Right.
And see, I knew that. I mean, I guess I didn't know that. It wasn't confirmed, but I've always thought that. I've always thought that Willow and Nell were twins ever since.
I would have preferred Nell not to be Nina's daughter, so Nina could be totally moted about everything she thought about Nell and just be like, oh, I guess I would just, and I'm using an old school term, moted, meaning like wrong and just feeling embarrassed. But still, I guess she has this connection with Nell.
I thought it was going to be something crazier, like her mama had sold her eggs from when she was in the coma. And that, because I think that, I mean, now that doesn't matter because they'll retcon whatever, but I think Nell was supposed to be older than Willow. So, because it was like Nell was alive when Carly went back to talk to her stepdad and was like old enough to remember. That was when they did that really weird story where they had like JPS play like the stepdad and Nina play like the mom or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Now, let us preview the week ahead.
Well, let's start with the Wiley's adults storyline. Everyone's favorite, who is just absolutely on the edge of their seats about grandparent visitation rights. Who isn't? So again, this is like Millo, Carsona, and Harmlexis. Alexis finds a clearly troubled Harmony on the pier. The legal battle between Nina, Michael, and Willow intensifies. Sunny makes Phyllis an offer. Sunny tries to lower the temperature as he and Nina face a crisis. Carly expresses her concerns. I think that could be either about Wiley's adults or the sex tape, maybe both. Michael and Willow give their side of the story. Harmony makes a plan. So the court battle starts. That much is clear. Sunny was very mysterious about how he was going to show up in court when he was talking to Scotty this past week. So I would say I'm intrigued, but I don't care. That really took Tracy out. Yeah, I don't care. I think the only thing I do care about is Harmony. Like I want to know like about her plan. What's she gonna do now that she's being extorted, blackmailed? Which one is it? Is she being extorted? Is she being blackmailed?
Who knows what's happening in GH legal world? I will say what I am interested in, because I love Petty Michael. Hot take, and not in the hot take section. I am team Michael here over Nina. I've never been team Michael. I love Petty Michael, and so I'm interested because they're bringing Avery into it and what Nina did to Avery.
I will say, yeah, I take it back. I am interested in the Nina story going public and like the implications for everyone in Avery's life, including Ava. Like there is a spoiler. I think it's for next week actually, about Ava and Nina, where like Nina is warning Ava about something, or maybe it's the other way around. But I want them to have to talk about Avery. Because have they ever, like, since they became friends, acknowledged that?
Yeah.
That Nina stole Avery at birth, like forced Ava into labor?
Right.
You know, something that you might want to deal with in your friendship.
Yeah, which kind of makes their whole friendship seem really kind of inexplicable now that you think about it.
I think that's been people's like main issue with their relationship. And so I'm not happy. I'm interested to see if they address that at all. And I wish I could read that article. I wish it was a real article. I would read it. Even though I hate schmaltz, I would read this article. So sex tape storyline. So this is the teens, the Ashford Robinsons, the Cassadines. Okay. Monday. Ava and Trina reconnect. Looks like they're going to be at the gallery, while Jordan and Dante discuss a development in her case. So what we know from Soap Opera Digest is what that development is that there's more evidence that points to Trina that gets surfaced in some way. So unfortunately, Tanya, it's the exact opposite of what you forecast or what you asked for. I don't know what the evidence is. I guess we'll find out on Monday or maybe not, but there's something that comes up, and Dante and Jordan are both like disappointed because at this point they both don't believe that Trina was the one who did it. Although if they really didn't believe it, I don't know why they haven't questioned the person that was named by the victims as the perpetrator. Well, what do I know? And Nicholas also received some tough love advice regarding Spencer. I'm assuming that's from Alexis because she was in the preview with him. Things get explosive between Spencer and Trina on Tuesday. I'm assuming that they're at the gallery again, since Ava and Trina were just there. And the aftermath of the video catches up with Jocelyn and Cameron. I'm assuming that probably has something to do with the TV appearance that Alexis was going to make regarding their case. Wednesday, Jocelyn seeks out Trina. So yay, Jocelyn Trina scene. Cameron is not happy to see Spencer. I've also seen the spoiler framed as Spencer gets a cold reception from Cameron. Rightfully so. Elizabeth and Portia clash at work, and I believe that's Thursday, and then on Friday, Jordan finds a contemplative Curtis at the pier. Another piece of the spoiler, I forget which day it actually happens on, but Sam and Carly actually have a conversation, I think, on Monday, where Carly's like, oh, what kind of evidence do the PCPD have? Like, can you hit up your boo? sleeping with a cop, so we want to know like what do they have against Trina so we can disprove it. And so at some point, Sam is gonna get into Dante's phone and get caught by him trying to get the forensics evidence. So that's gonna be a little Sante tension about the Trina case. Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about. What I was saying, what didn't work was like this, like they were building up Sam and Carly for this. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to like building them up for the sake of having more positive like female relationships on the show. It was like, so we'll see what happens after this if they remain in a relationship, but it to me feels like they were building up Sam and Carly specifically to be able to do this in a way that felt believable. When really what we need is just the relationships without the plot points.
I hope that it also just means that Sam's going to play a more active role in proving that Trina's innocent, and that there'll be more kind of like negotiation between Sante, because they're actually like not at odds from like a goal perspective, but they're at odds in a method perspective. And obviously I 100% sided with Sam. She's doing the right thing. Dante, what are you doing? Now you cute, but what are you doing? Any other thoughts about this, how this storyline is might play out? Everyone's too sad.
I really hope that Elizabeth Weber does not think it's Trina. Because if so, I'm going nuclear.
Oh,
You said you hope Elizabeth Weber is not what?
Does not think that Trina did the sex tape. I hope that is not the tension.
Yeah.
I hope it's something else completely and entirely. I don't want to have to go there on Liz, but I will. Because I've already said anyone who rises up against Trina is dead in my book. That's why Marcellus is dead in my book. That's why my child is on timeout. He's staying with his father right now on their castle.
like you can come over during the day, but you can't spend the night here.
Yeah. And don't bring that girl here.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, that girl is not allowed here. Yeah, because it's like Elizabeth already has said that she believes Trina, and I don't know like what's going on with this like evidence piece, and if that's gonna change anyone's opinion about whether or not Trina was framed. And that is something that I feel nervous about. I don't think that that's going to factor into the Sprina scene, because I don't think they'll know that there's new evidence, since it will have just happened on Monday and they're probably going to be at the gallery. So I know that some people were having anxiety about that. Who knows? I mean, people teleport on this show, so who knows when people are going to find out what. But yeah, I don't know if I'm looking forward to the Sprina scenes. For once, I can't say that I necessarily am looking forward to it, but I am interested in what will happen and like what the dynamic between them is going to be now. Very Libra way of saying it. So as far as the other storylines, there'll be some sort of Brasha something this week, one-off, like they do. A little bit of Brit. So her storyline, Ulbricht's gonna be pestering Brit about her love life. There's gonna be a family dinner, so I'm assuming the other Westbournes will be there, minus Willow, who is a Westbourne. And then there's going to be Brad and Britt going over her society setups matches. So more Britt and Brad, yay. There's going to be, as far as like the Liz's mystery, there's not going to be much on that I know of. Laura's going to be talking to Aiden. So I'm assuming that's going to be about that. And then for the Ice Princess, that's going to be on pause until Friday when Anna reveals what she found to Robert and Laura, which was not Valentine, unfortunately. Finally. I'm just calling this Chillin' and Co. since they're not doing the baby swap anymore. Tensions run high as Brooklyn, Chase, Austin, Maxie, and Spinelli all converge at the gym.
That gym is becoming a very hot set.
It is. It is. I am Team Spixie reunion.
Mhm.
Same.
And there's another Maxie and Spinelli spoiler for the following week. So I'm just saying what I really want is for Austin and Maxie to be the spoiler couple, the barrier for Austin and Britt, and Maxie and Spinelli. That's what I want. And finally, most importantly, Chase gets out of the shower to answer an important call. The most important spoiler of the week.
The most
Yeah.
important spoiler. Mhm.
So Chase has a shower set, just like Dante. You know what? We're not giving them bedroom sets. We're giving them shower sets. But
Right.
although that shower looks big, I'm just saying, it looks like there's room for more than just one. So
Chase and Brooklyn should be in the shower.
they should. But they're not going to be.
No.
So yeah, that's what the week is looking like moving forward. Sounds like it's gonna be kind of A-B storylines are gonna be the sex tape and Wiley's adults, and with a little bit of the other storylines kind of sprinkled in throughout the week. That's our week.
I'm hoping I'm not betrayed with unspoiled Nina like that time that happened to me, that you didn't tell me that Nina was going to be on.
Mhm.
I mean, I would just expect Nina to be on all week, to be honest. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, she's only in one spoiler, or she's on 2 spoilers, but she's clearly gonna be on all week. Just prepare yourself now.
Well, I mean, I'm glad for Cynthia Watros. She's a great actress.
And she be wearing a dress, okay? Because that's the thing about me. I don't have any ill will towards the actors. I think Cynthia is great. The only person I don't fuck with is Marcellus. Cynthia, when she shows up on the scene, you know she's gonna have a look.
Yep.
Period. Every time. So I'd be mad to see Nina, but I'm like, Cynthia, you rocking that dress, girl.
She sure is. She's always gonna be rocking the dress.
Every time.
That's it. Hey, I don't know what else to say about Nina. Yeah, that's our week. You know,
Yeah.
stay hydrated, take deep breaths.
Fantastic Beast comes out Friday. That's it.
I'm gonna probably just watch some more Bridgerton, to be honest.
Yeah. Been doing all of that.
That's where I'm going for my romance, since I can't get it on my soap opera.
I know. That it is good romance, I will say.
I love a slow burn.
I love enemies to lovers trope. It's one of my faves.
Well, I think that the stage hydrated advice, mind your business,
Oh yeah, mind your business.
unfollow Nancy Lee Grahn.
In real life and in soap opera life. Get out of other people's business.
Well,
Yeah. Don't be afraid to block people.
it's good for your skin.
But if you need to go off on somebody, do that, because there's no use of holding in anger. Let it out. Let it go.
All of it's valid.
Yeah.
I
But
personally
unless you want to go off on me, stay out of my DMs.
oh, don't bother.
Whoa.
Don't bother going off on me. Because I'm gonna block you. I'm not gonna be able to see it.
And then I'd have no way of knowing.
I would have no way of knowing.
Well, I feel like that's really great advice to end episode 31. 31, y'all. Been doing it.
Woo!
All right. See folks next week.
You next
Bye.
Hi.